Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is the Ready, Set, Go preview show. This is a show that we do every single week on Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. And during this show, we typically talk about some news and some current events. We talk about things that may be top of mind for me, things that may be top of mind for you. We typically give away a really cool slab during this show from our sponsor, Go Collect, and we generally have a fantastic time. And I want to welcome you guys to another show. If this is your first time ever seeing the Ready, Set, Go preview show or any show from my channel, I definitely want to encourage you to hit the subscription button so that you can, be in the know whenever I go live or whenever I'm releasing content. This will allow you to be in the know, but it also makes you eligible for the giveaways that we do every single week. If you don't know about the giveaways, definitely stay tuned because I'll be providing you some details, but you can also search on the channel. You can search here on the YouTube machine for Regie Collect's Go Collect giveaway, and there is a full video that will explain the giveaway that I do every single week. And that is technically just one of the giveaways. We do a healthy number of giveaways here on the channel. So again, by being a subscriber, it makes you eligible for the giveaways. But like I said, you're also in the know on what I think is some pretty cool content that comes out from the channel over the course of the week. And that is also something that we get to over the course of this live stream, is I give you a preview of some of the content that is going to be coming out from the channel over the course of the week here on YouTube, but also on the podcast as well. So definitely want to welcome you guys and encourage you to subscribe and stay tuned, because I think we've been putting out some pretty good content as of late. But I want to say hello to some comic book swoldiers that have joined me here in the room. I see Chris. Just a lot of Chris's. I see two Chris's. Chris B. It's tough to tell you guys apart. My man Joe, Anachronic Comic. That is so tough for me to do. Joe, it is good to see you, brother. As always, Tina's in the house. How you doing? Jeffrey P is here. Squirrel Madness. Mr. Comic 89. How you doing, brother? Looking forward to seeing that video that you dropped where you unbox some ASM with a villain in it. Looking forward to checking that one out. Backseat Driver is in the house, who just unboxed a really dope Captain America statue. Silver Age Surfer is in the house. Scrolling down through the net, Randy Snake. How you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Alta Mista, how you doing? Luke, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Scrolling through the names. Who else do we have? Cool and Connected is in here. How you doing? Happy Easter to you, the creator of this wonderful piece of art back there. Frog Boy, my man, it is good to see you. Matt Woods is in the house. JD, how you doing, my friend? It is good to see all of you guys, and I want to, again, thank you for taking time out of your respective days to spend a little bit of time with me. So unlike some of the other shows, this is actually, I don't think, going to be a jam-packed show. There are some things that I want to talk about that we will get to, but I want to also reserve a healthy amount of time for you guys to be able to ask me questions, and we'll talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Part of the reason for that is my wife is feeling better. She started to feel a little bit better yesterday, and today has been a good day. So we as a family have spent a lot of time together. We went for a walk. We did some activities for the kids here at the house, and it has been a good day. And so I chose to spend a little bit more time on those things and a little less time on the channel, because like I said, she started feeling better yesterday. So my show prep, which I kind of sort of sometimes do on Saturday, bleeds into Sunday, was a little derailed, but I think everybody definitely gets where I'm coming from. She's been sick for about 2 weeks. So it's been nice to actually have another coach out there on the sidelines trying to keep the team moving in the right direction. So I want to thank everybody for their well wishes. A lot of people reach out to me almost every day to ask how she's doing, and it actually means a lot. So I wanted to give you guys a quick snapshot of that to let you know that she is doing better. Thank you, Crispy. I definitely appreciate that. Matt Forge, how you doing? How you doing, brother? Randy Snake. Yeah, man. Like, some people don't even say hello to me. They're like, so is your wife better? How's your wife? I'm like, you know I'm here, right? No, but I definitely appreciate it. So couple of things that we're going to get to. I want to do a little bit of a recap on some stuff that happened over the course of this week that you guys may have missed or not been privy to. So I want to talk about some of that stuff. I want to give you a heads up on the 7,000 subscriber giveaway that we are probably going to wrap up this week. I'll talk a little bit about that. Want to talk about two things maybe that are in the news. And then I also want to give you guys a rundown of my reading list, because I've been reading some stuff here at the house because I've had some time, of course, like many of you. So like over the last, week and a half or so, I've been reading some stuff. So I want to share that with you guys so you can see what's up. Thank you, Almighty Liger King. I definitely appreciate that, bro. Facts. These are facts right here. This is happy wife, happy life, just facts. That's my new saying. If you guys haven't noticed that, if you talk to me and you say something, I'm like, facts. Where's Joe? Bro, I'm gonna tell you, I was thinking about you earlier today, bro. I got on the Stairmaster today. I did 15 minutes on the Stairmaster. I did some resistance training here at the house. I did a little bit of workout. Joe got on me the other day, not in a bad way. Joe got on me. He's like, man, you need to take some time for yourself. And he was right. I've been having some issues with my left knee. And the truth is, I've been having issues with my left knee because the muscles in my legs are starting to atrophy, right? So I decided to do a workout, and lo and behold, the knee actually starts to feel a little bit better, So shout out to Joe for keeping me honest on stuff. And I definitely appreciate you guys always being on the lookout. So thank you for that. So the very first thing that I want to talk about is some DC news. Dan DiDio, I think I'm saying his last name correctly. I may just be butchering it. I've never actually heard anyone pronounce it correctly. But this is Dan. I was checking this out on Newsarama, and this is pretty cool because I think that this might be one of the first articles that I've seen since his departure from DC. For those that don't know, Dan was the co-publisher at DC Comics with the creative genius and super powerhouse Jim Lee. So Dan was more of the business guy, and Stan Lee and Jim Lee was more of the creative, guru, if you will. And Dan was let go from DC, and the company, they're trying to figure themselves out. But this is one of the first articles that I've seen that has come out post departure that actually has some quotes in here from him. And technically, this was actually part of a podcast that was done, the Drink and Draw Social Club live stream. And so this is basically a live stream where comic creators get together and have a conversation. And in the stream, Dan talked about his biggest regret about his time working at DC, which was, I think it was like 18 years or something like that. And this may be a surprise. What he said is he wished that he had taken more time to push forward some of the changes that they were working on. He said the biggest regret is not spending the same amount of energy on year 2 of the New 52 as we did on year 1 of New 52. We spent a good 6 to 8 months building the New 52, rethinking the characters, rethinking the designs, rethinking the villains, rethinking everything so that it all made sense. As things progressed, moving quicker, we spent less time on development, so we were spending less energy making changes for the characters that felt that they were worthy of the new direction. So I thought that was pretty insightful, right? I mean, I think it's as an executive, you always, I think, wonder if you're making the right decisions. And, he's basically saying change is important. If you are a person that puts out comics and comic content, change is important because the change helps people to stay invested in the characters. And his argument is that they needed to spend more time on thinking through the ramifications of everything that they were doing and changing so as to ensure that it actually made sense. And I don't know how you guys feel. There's people in the room that actually read the New 52 in year 1 and then year 2 and 3. I'm curious what you guys think about that. But in Dan's mind, he's like, what, year 1 of New 52, we smashed it. Year 2, we did okay. Year 3, the wheels came off. So I'm curious what folks think about that. So let me say a quick hello. Super Honorable Nephew just dropped a super chat. Thank you, bro. I definitely appreciate that. I appreciate you swinging by for just a couple of moments, and thanks for the kind words, man, about the wife. I appreciate it, bro. And I will definitely talk to you soon. Nerd Father is like, thank you, Reggie, for having this live video. Nerd Father also recorded, I think, his first 2 videos on his channel this week, talking about comic book cleaning. I was able to watch the very first video, not able to watch the second, but if you guys get a second, you may want to check out Nerdy Father on the YouTube machine and also on Instagram. And again, a huge shout out to my man, Super Honorable Nephew, who is a Patreon member and also just dropped a nice little super chat there. So I definitely appreciate that. But if you guys are, what does it say? Scrolling down, a couple of people with some, a couple of people here with some cabin fever. So I'm definitely pleased that you guys are enjoying it. So scrolling through the comments here, let me get to this one. So I'm actually going to talk about that, Hawkeye. Hawkeye's got a question here about the 1,000 comic book challenge. Hashtag 1,000 comic challenge. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. This is actually something that I'm helping to support, that the Crush Comics. You guys remember Josh was on the show, the owner of Crush Comics. They're doing this 1,000 comic challenge. So I'll give you guys an update on that. So scrolling down through some of the comments here. What was this? This is one right here. Sherwin says, I like the New 52. I thought it was a good jumping on point for new readers at the time. And I think that's definitely a good point there. Scrolling through, let me see. Sorry, I'm not sure what we're talking about. New 52 is good, is what Nerdy Father says. Scrolling down through the comments, making sure, She Spawn is in the house. How you doing? All right. So what we were doing is we were doing a quick little cover off here on Dan DiDio's comments as the former co-publisher of DC Comics. And he was on a podcast and they were having a conversation about his biggest regret in his 18 years at DC. And he basically says that one of his biggest regrets is the fact that they did not spend as much time on the New 52 in years 2 and 3 as they did in year 1. And he makes a compelling argument that, you know, it's important for changing things, for keeping things fresh, for evolving characters. If you're not changing and evolving, you're stagnant. And when you're stagnant, the books become what the fans identify as, does this book matter? I need to know which books to buy. And if I want to buy the books that matter, he says, he goes on to say, well, the only way they matter, that being the books, is if they're affecting change. Then you're chasing your own tail and you can't get out of it. But he makes an argument here that it's important to continue to evolve and change characters to create new stories. And he says that they got it right with year 1 of New 52, so sort of right with year 2, and then year 3, not as much. He says they just started making changes and things like that, but not really thinking through the ramifications of them. So just a little insightful stuff there. I thought it was cool because this was like the first article that I've seen since his departure from DC where Dan actually speaks about his experiences at DC. And so a lot of articles have come out that have spoken about him, or it's other people that are talking about him, but I had not seen anything where he is actually addressing it. So I thought that was pretty cool. Quest Dog says, New 52 actually got me to add a bunch of DC Comics to my weekly buy. Before that, I was almost buying no DC. And again, you know, if a reboot is done correctly, then I think that it could be huge. And here's just one example of someone that wasn't really doing anything with DC. And I think there was another person that was like, hey, New 52 gave me a great starting point for some of these really cool characters. So when done right, it actually does work. What does it say? It's Didorio's tenure had run his course, his job was planning, and he failed. I don't know about that. I mean, I think that's a pretty broad and sweeping statement. Someone does not necessarily stay in a job for 18 years if they are a failure. Maybe they had some stumbling blocks. Maybe they made some mistakes, right? Which he kind of acknowledges. Maybe he made some, but I don't know if you can call someone a failure after 18 years of running an organization. That is definitely not an easy thing to do. And, again, I think DC brought in $30 million. I don't know if I would call that a failure, especially if you are the person at the helm of that organization. I in many ways would say that that's a pretty successful run, but that's my opinion. That is my opinion. So scrolling through some of the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. Here we go. Great Free says, I have some big decisions to make regarding the CGC signing. I'm very serious. Frank Miller collector. Brother, pull the trigger. What is it? $100, $130 or something like that? I see. Here's the thing. I told people, right, because She-Spawn, who was in the room, I told She-Spawn, She-Spawn reached out to me and sent me a screen grab, and I did a little bit of research and verified that what she had sent over to me was accurate, that CGC was going to be announcing all of these new signings. Then it was like radio silence for like 2 or 3 days. People started sending me messages. Reggie, are you serious? Is it going to happen? And I'm like, just wait. And then Frank Miller gets announced towards the end of the week. And people are like, cool. Yeah. So there's other announcements that are going to be coming out. But Greek Freak, let me know what your challenge is, and maybe we can help you out just a little bit on making a decision. Hopefully I will see the comment. If not, I'm sure others will comment as well. He also has a comment here. I think New 52 helped a lot of comic shops during that time, right? So there we go. There, Tommy Mayo's like, I love Dan as a publisher. He brought in a lot of talent and made big moves. I hope nothing but the best for his future. I completely agree. Like, I don't know, where do you go now after you've been a publisher of like arguably the second largest publisher out there? Like, where do you go now? Like, I don't know what that career trajectory looks like, interesting. You know what I do want to say? I don't know if Spencer is out there watching right now, but I do want to say hello to my man, Spencer. I was talking to your father earlier this week, and I made a comment to him about the fact that I know that you are the one that is behind all of the work that was done in that new comic book room of yours. He's taking credit for it, Spencer, but I know that it was you. So hopefully you guys are having the Woods family. I hope you guys are having a good Sunday night over there, wherever you guys are. So, here we go. So Tommy Oliver saying his entire career at DC wasn't a failure, but it was time for a change because the publishing line had become stagnant. Yeah. And I mean, I think that that's probably a good way to look at it. I mean, I can't remember who made the previous comment, but the comment was very broad in that he was a failure. And I am against broad statements in many cases because I think broad statements lack nuance, right? I think I just made a broad statement about broad statements, but whatever. Broad statements tend to lack nuance, right? And so, I would probably agree that if you've been somewhere for about 18 years or so, you're probably going to get a little stale after a while, right? So change is not necessarily a bad thing. It is not necessarily a bad thing. And sometimes it's just like anything else, man. With athletes get to see their performance decline. They're not scoring as fast. They're not running as quickly. They're not lifting as much. Their reflexes aren't as sharp. And they sometimes will notice these things. And in other cases, other people start to notice these things and are like, hey, you might want to retire. But in business, it's a little different, right? It's a little different, especially if there's so many other people that are contributing. They sometimes can make up for your stagnation, right? Your staleness, your lack of creativity, your lack of energy and passion and zeal. And 18 years is a long run, man. Sometimes you don't really see, I don't think, people that do the same gig for like decades upon decades, right? I mean, I've worked for so many different companies in my last 17 years. It's unbelievable, right? But 17 years or 18 years that he did, that's a long time. That's a long time. And sometimes to the point that was being made, change is good. Change is good. So, Johnny Future in the house. How you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Let's see what else. Did we miss anything? All right. So that was one thing that we wanted to talk about. I will give you guys a quick rundown. So somebody asked, Hawkeye was asking about the 1,000 comic book challenge. And this is actually something that I'm doing with Crush Comics. So I'll tell you, I've been reading a lot. And you guys have contributed to this. I've been reading a lot because I read every book on this list. Every book that is on this list was a recommendation from one of you out there, right? And I don't take all recommendations, but you know, if enough people keep saying it, I'm like, all right, well, let me read it, right? So I have read this week issues 1 through 11 of Daredevil, the new Daredevil series, which I think started in 2018, maybe 2019. Really good. Really good. Daredevil is official. He even had some Spider-Man appearances. The Punisher was in there. Elektra's in there. It is good. So I'm on issue 11 of Daredevil, and I'm thoroughly enjoying that. I finished my very first story arc of Doctor Strange. I've never, ever read Doctor Strange, but I read some Doctor Strange because of one of you guys. I read The Oath. There's another one that I might read where I hear rumor that he has a battle axe. And The Oath, he had a gun. I didn't think the Sorcerer Supreme would ever pull up a gun, but it was like Hitler's gun, so maybe it was like a special occasion or something. But I read Doctor Strange, The Oath, and that there, JD is like, I love Doctor Strange. I read it, and it was good. The Oath, I read issues 1 through 5 of that, including some night nurse appearances. So that with Dormammu was in there, and those notes are not on here. I'm doing that from memory. These are just the books. So I've read Daredevil 1 through 11, Doctor Strange 1 through 5. I also read a White Widow. My man Chaotic Kindness hooked me up with White Widow number 3, so I read that. And then I also am in the middle of reading Grindel's Devil's Odyssey. And one of you actually sent me an AOK of Grindel number 1 that was double signed by by a father-son team. I don't know if it was writers and artists or both artists. I'm honestly not sure, but I think it was a father-son team. One of you guys got that signed for me. My man Paul got that signed for me, sent it to me. I unboxed it and I started reading. And so those are the books that I have contributed over the last week and a half to the 1,000 book challenge that the folks over at Crush are actually doing. So hopefully, Hawkeye, that answers your question, my man. So what does this say? Adam says, that's what's up, Reggie. I just got through the first 10 issues of Daredevil and it's amazing. Some pretty deep content and dialogue. Man, Zdarsky he's solid, man. He is doing the X-Men and Fantastic Four, and I'm enjoying that. And I'm enjoying what he's doing on Daredevil. I always knew that Daredevil, Matt Murdock, had a religious / moral compass. But it's kind of interesting to kind of see it play out in the comic book, you know, and a lot of people are like, keep politics and religion out of comics, but this is like the foundation of the character, kind of sort of like Spawn, because I think Spawn has some religious overtones, if not like the whole thing is religious. Not the biggest Spawn fan, despite the name that his last name is Simmons, and so is mine. But this is one of the things that we talked about on the channel before. We've talked about having a learner's mindset, right? And there's videos on the channel about this. I think having a learner's mindset allows one to be open and receptive to some suggestions from other people. And yes, I'm still hardcore to the things that I believe in, but I'm also trying to enjoy some of these other things that I normally would not read, but I'm enjoying, right? And this is actually something else that someone asked me. They were like, are you collecting these as well? And I don't know if I will. I don't know if I will collect these things versus reading them and enjoying them for what they are, which is a piece of really great comic book writing / art. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I'll ever buy Daredevil, but I've enjoyed reading it, you know? Same thing with Doctor Strange, The Oath. Don't know if I'll ever buy it, but I enjoyed the entire story arc 1 through 5. I read it and I thought it was pretty cool, you know? So I don't know if you have to only buy things or, you know, I think you can also just read them and enjoy them for what they are, but not necessarily buy them. You know what I'm saying? At least that's my belief, right? It also just allows me to be a more well-rounded host to the show, because I know more and more about what it is that you guys are actually talking about when you guys bring up very, very, bro. I've spoken about this before, Gimbal. White Widow's official. I'm gonna be honest with you. White Widow it's official. It's pretty well done. So I read issue 1 and 2 and was like sucked in. I thought it was cool, right? It's an original story. It's a female character. It's not too different from Spider-Man, which is part of maybe why I like it. You know, I read issue 3 and I was disconnected. And the reason for that is because I think that there is a like a 2 extended, like issue 2 extended, which goes into like more detail beyond issue 2 and kind of bridges the divide between 2 and 3. But if you don't get that extended, when you read 3, you're like, when did all this happen? Right? All these events are happening. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What did I miss from issue 2? Like, did I not read it carefully enough? Right? So I didn't care for that, right? Because I don't have that issue in between the bridge. So I didn't care from that, but I do enjoy the freshness of the character, the fresh origin, if you will. Her not necessarily knowing who she is or what she is. Her origin story was kind of revealed in a little bit more detail in issue number 3. So I'm enjoying it. Will I buy it? I don't know, right? All 3 issues that I have were actually A-okay to me by one person. And I'm really appreciative of that, because I otherwise would not have read it. Will I buy it? I don't know. And I think that White Widow is only available via Kickstarter, right? And I'm normally a little skeptical of Kickstarter, but maybe I'll buy one. And maybe you guys will actually see me talk and hear more about this in a video coming up. So I'm going to pivot off this title. Al Simmons. There can only be one. That is right. The one with the 1G in his name. They do have some dope variants, man. Bro, stay tuned for the video. That's all I'm going to say to you. Stay tuned for the video, my man. Just picked up Uncanny X-Men 248 and 268 First Jim Lee for $25. That's what's up. Congrats on that, my man. I'm scrolling up because I think I might have missed some comments. So scrolling up real quick. All right, I think I'm actually good. I've actually already read God Killers. I thought it was strange. I read it digitally. I need to read it again. It's different. It's like a war. It's like a war comic, and I enjoy war comics. I enjoy that, right? And this had some religious overtones as well, because I'm reading it at the same time as I'm like reading Daredevil, and it's different. It's a different kind of comic that is out there. And I'm bringing this up. Johnny Future's bringing this up because he has A-okay to me, God Killers, and it hasn't come in, but I couldn't wait. I had to read it digitally. And it is not bad. It is not a bad read, I have to tell you. So I'm actually looking forward to getting the hard copies in my hand. Man. Right. Brother. This, if you have not read the Blue Marvel, treat yourself. The Blue Marvel is a really good read. It is a really good read. Reading and collecting Blue Marvel right now, it ain't exactly. You know who messed that up? Well, first of all, I will tell you that it's never exactly been Blue Ocean. For whatever reason, this book has always been expensive. It has always been expensive. And then another YouTuber, bigger, much bigger than I, actually started talking about it. And then the prices just really took off again. And this was probably maybe 5 months ago, they started talking about it, and the prices just went up, man. So I have 2 copies of issue number 1, and that's all that I have. I have 2 copies of issue number 1, and I'm kicking myself for not having bought the others. When I had an opportunity to do it, it was one of those situations where you're spending a lot of money, and you're like, I can buy that now or can wait. And you're like, I've spent enough. And so I'll wait. And then the prices do what they do. And then the opportunity's not there. But get it, brother. Get it. I also check out Prodigy. Prodigy is official. Prodigy is official, and so is Stealth. Those are two additional books that I think are fantastic. Scrolling down through some of the comments. Yeah, so this is actually one of the things on my list here, Nerdy Father. It's actually one of the things on my list to talk about Todd McFarlane. So I don't know if you guys have seen this stuff, but I have not watched the video myself. What I have done is I have seen some excerpts, some comments, some excerpts that he made from that video in which he kind of talked about how comic book collectors are addicts and how the addiction needs to be fed, because if someone goes sober, then it becomes easier for them to remain sober. And I mean, this is a guy that definitely understands his market. You know what I'm saying? But he basically compared comic book collectors and readers to addicts, in that he was saying, you know, the four large publishers that are out there that have 80% of the market, right? So Image, DC, Marvel, and I can't remember what the other one was. We're basically saying that they need to speak with one voice, and they also need to team up and release their 10 most popular titles digitally and make these comics available to readers to enjoy, to feed the addiction, to keep them on the hook. And the thing about Todd is that he is not afraid to ruffle feathers. He is not afraid to be controversial, but it's not done, I don't think, with malice. You know what I'm saying? Like he is not afraid to speak his mind, but I don't think that he does it with malice. You know, you can tell someone's intent in many cases. You know what I'm saying? I think that he speaks his mind, and he says it, and he means it, and he can support it. And, you know, I was reading his argument, and I can't argue with it, right? It's tough. It's tough to argue with it because, again, you know, the guy is in the industry. Look at what he's done. You have to respect what he's done and how he's done it. And, you know, but with that said, he is probably the only major figure out there that supports the idea of digital first, right? Even Image, right? So Todd is president of Image. He made his statements. An official statement came out from Image. And the official statement from Image is like, we support brick and mortar comic shops. We're not releasing anything. We're going to support brick and mortar. That was the official statement from Image Comics. And so, you know, he is taking a position that the organization itself doesn't necessarily support. And again, this is not to say that he's wrong. It's simply to say that it's a pretty tough time right now. So you can see here, it says, let me see if I can find it. Image Comics co-founder, President Todd McFarlane, offered the idea of a unified front for the major publishers, along with a bold proposal that those unified publishers offer 10 new popular top titles with the most demand as free as digital download. So he's basically saying, let's feed the addiction. Let's speak with one voice. Let's feed the addiction. And then shortly thereafter, you see Eric Larson. Eric Larson's like, no, we're gonna hold everything, and we're going to only release them when they can actually be sent to local comic shops. And then there was a statement that came out from Image, and this statement here says, let me see if I can find the right section. As we navigate the very difficult multi-layered ramifications of the situation, I'm not saying it because YouTube doesn't like when I say that word, has had the economy and its effort to preserve the overall health of comics medium, we must support the channel that is most imminently endangered by the warehouse and non-essential business closure, the local independent owned businesses that include comic shops and independent bookstores. These bookstores are more than just retailers to our comic community. They are often the biggest champions for the medium. They drive engagement, and they act alongside press like Newsarama and bloggers like Regie Collects. They didn't say that, but I think it should have been in there. That understand the community is an ecosystem and have been hugely supportive of keeping brick and mortar stores healthy, which in turn keeps comics healthy in every form. We love our digital readers too, blah, 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 right? So, the thing is that Todd made his statements, which Todd stands by, and he should make those statements because he is free to make them. Image as a company and Eric Larson as another co-founder and partner with an Image, no one supports that. But you say what you say, and I feel that he means it, and I feel that he is trying to do the right thing in his mind. So let me scroll down through the comments here to see what you guys are talking about. If anyone is up on this one, scrolling up through the comments, making sure, seeing what you guys are talking about. It needs to be digital right now just so people can get there. And when all this stuff is over, and that is the big question right there. That is the big question, is if you give people digital, will they ever go and buy those comics, right? And you can make a strong argument either way, to the point that I just made a second ago about me reading Daredevil, Doctor Strange. I have no intent of buying those comics, right? So if you release it, there is going to be a certain percentage of people that is not going to go buy those comics. There are people like She Spawn, if she is still here in the room. She Spawn has a ton of affinity for Spawn. And so it won't matter to her whether she gets it digital or print. You can rest assured she's going to get the print because that's what she does. But not everyone is like that. Not everyone is like that. So it's tough. It's tough. Don't release the crack. It is tough. I mean, I think that you can make an argument either way for why it will be good or bad. What is this? I feel like he's on to something because they can do free digital download with purchase of book or option of purchasing when everyone goes back. And so we actually spoke about this before, right? We spoke about this before where a lot of retailers, right? And I kind of sort of defer to retailers themselves when they're like, nope, don't do it. There's a reason why, right? And one of the arguments that has been made is, let's say that this goes on anywhere from 4 to 20 weeks. If that happens, there's a lot that can happen. I actually talked about it in a previous video. But how do you cycle through 20 weeks of comics that get dumped onto your shop, right? Imagine trying to cycle through 20 weeks of comics while at the same time managing all the new stuff. So how do you manage, as a local comic shop, the backlog of books while also bringing in new books and dealing with the invoices for all of that is coming down to you as they've been releasing it? You don't have any foot traffic, right? You're probably not getting your full $2 per issue as well, because somebody's going to, nibble at the profit margin there before you even get the books. And then you still have to manage through, right? So the thing is, a lot of people are saying, I don't want to even support local comic shops. I've actually seen some comics like that. I'm not buying any new comics. I can't afford to do it because I don't know if I'm going to have a job. Those are the arguments. And so with that, there's a lot of people that don't even have jobs. What happens if someone sells you a digital comic? Some of that money goes to the local comic shop and it's not enough, and the local comic shop goes out of business. What happens to your comics at that point? Where do they go? This is fraught with complexity that I don't think people fully appreciate just how complex this issue might be. And I think that that's part of the reason why people are like, nope, let's not even do it, because it's complex. And his argument of releasing 10, that's actually somewhat of a manageable number, but 10 for how long? You know what I'm saying? And so it's tough. It's tough. And again, I think that you can make arguments either way all day on this one right now. Two Brothers says, yep, that's why things like Comic Hub sounded good, but wouldn't work in favor of the LCS. Man, I'm telling you, we talked about this. We talked about Comic Hub in detail. And as I said before, it wasn't, and it's still not clear to me whether that approach cuts Diamond out or not, because it's almost like Comic Hub becomes the new Diamond, if you will, right? It wasn't clear to me how the physical comic still got to the LCS, because in the model that they set up, it looked like the publisher uploaded it, the comic shop somehow has some involvement, right? But it wasn't clear how the physical book went from the publisher to the local comic shop to the reader. That wasn't clear to me, right? And if the profit margin on a comic is only $2, rest assured that not all of that money will be going to the local comic shop the way that it does now. So scrolling up through the comments, let me see. There was one comment I wanted to see whether I can find it. I hope publishers delay and stagger releases and don't drop them all at once. I'm not paying fine. Preach, brother. Here's the thing is, I don't even know if publishers are even still printing. I don't even know if they're still printing, you know? So that's the other part of it is, do they even have the ability to actually ship anything to Diamond or to somebody else if they're not even printing? So, yeah. And that's part of what Todd was talking about, is that we need to speak with one unified voice to the market and say what it is that we're going to do, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, again, I think that you can make an argument either way with this one. And I don't know what the right answer is. I'm going to just be completely honest. And that's why in previous videos, what I've said is I defer to those that are truly in the know. If you are in the industry and you are basically telling me that this is not good for the industry, and because I don't have any expertise, then I have to defer, right? I have to defer. That is why you have experts, right, that know this stuff backwards and forwards. And so I defer to those folks. So I don't know. This is a very tough situation. What I will say is, this is my opinion. Continue to support your LCSs as best you can. Many of them are doing virtual sales. They're doing mail order. They're doing back issue, sales and claim sales on Instagram and on YouTube. You know, as best you can, support your local comic shops, you know, to the point where, you know, where it doesn't mess up your own life, you know, and that's what I'm trying to do. My LCS, what is that? Let me scroll up. My LCS said if this goes on for more than 4 months, they will go out of business. He's even delivering to people's houses just to stay afloat. It's pretty scary, as there is only one LCS on the island. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, you try to do what you can. And I think, and I heard this is not confirmed, so please don't. I heard that there is some discussion where Diamond is like, we can actually ship comics to retailers' homes. And I guess the UPS, and I have not confirmed this. There is some stuff out there that says UPS will not ship to non-essential businesses, but they will ship to people's residences. And Diamond is saying if that's the case, retailers can receive shipments at their residences because UPS won't deliver to their businesses because they are deemed non-essential. And I need to dig into that issue a little bit more. But again, that could be a viable path forward. So scrolling down. All right. Scroll. All right. So those were a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. Another thing that I wanted to briefly touch on is I want to thank all the Patreon members that were able to participate in the live stream that we did earlier this week, and apologize to those that inadvertently were given access to that live stream because I forgot to make it private. I had the spur of the moment idea to basically pull together Patreon members for a private chat session where we basically got on camera and chatted with one another. And I think that there were like 9 of us that were able to break away last week on Friday to just chat for a little while. And it was cool. It was a cool, like, hour-long conversation or so about various topics, whatever came up. And it was cool to be able to put a face to the name of several people. So that was really cool. So I want to give a shout out to all the Patreon members that participated in that. There were a lot of you that did not get a chance to participate. So you have my apologies. It was definitely an impromptu thing. We will do it again. I think that we'll do it again. I enjoyed it. I think those that participated also enjoyed it. So stay tuned because we will probably pull the trigger at least one more time on that one. All right. So the other thing that I want to, it was fun and interesting. I did see these a couple of people that hung out with me just a little. There you go. Master Blaster was there. Squirrel Madness was basically my co-host because I had to step away for a moment, so he actually filled in for me. But it was cool, man. It was cool to be able to chat with you guys and to see your faces and to interact with you. So I definitely appreciate you guys just hanging out just a little bit the other day. And like I said, we will do it again, and hopefully I'll be able to give people more advance notice than I did I think it was maybe like an hour and a half advance notice. So we'll try to do better. There's a couple of other things that I want to get to, but let me go ahead and try to do the giveaway because we have a ton of people here, and I definitely want to be respectful of time. So let's go ahead and do the giveaway. And this is the book. This is the book that we are giving away this week. This is Strange Tales number 138. And I want to thank the folks over at Go Collect for putting me in a position to be able to give away these books all these weeks. But this is a really, really cool book. Stan Lee and Steve Ditko stories and some Jack Kirby layout work here. This is a really cool book. And the phrase that you needed was Fury. Fury was the phrase for this particular book. But one person's actually going to get this book tonight, and I'll bundle it up and I'll ship it out. You guys may actually be able to see there's a bunch of other stuff back there. Those are all AOKs. Those are all AOKs that I'm actually going to be sending out to some folks. So shout out to everybody that participates in the various things that I make mention of on the community tab. So going to be sending out a bunch of AOKs this week as well. But if you are indeed the winner of tonight's Go Collect giveaway, I want to have you, as soon as you see this video, to send me an email to Regie@regiecollects.com, right? You send me an email there and you give me your screen name, your real name. You let me know if you want one of the shirts. The shirts come in light gray and dark gray, but only in large. And I will bundle all this stuff up and get it sent out to you. So if you are the winner, make sure you send me an email, and I will take care of you just as quickly as I can. So with that, I'm actually going to try to share my screen here, and we're going to look at all of the individuals that were able to successfully find the video with the phrase that they needed to be able to enter the giveaway, and then find the community tab and plugged in all their information. Again, if you want to participate in these giveaways, you have to be a subscriber of the channel, and then you also have to be a resident of the United States, a resident of Canada, or have a mailing address in the US. That's basically the only requirements to participate. And if you need more details, if you search the channel here on YouTube, if you search for Regie Collects, Go Collect, there is a video in which I provide you all the details on how to actually participate in the giveaway. I've made it super simple for folks. So hopefully people will take advantage of that. If you message me, I will basically tell you the same thing. There's a reason why I create the videos, because I want them to be a resource for people moving forward. So it helps me shorten my responses. So go ahead and roll the dice and see 12. Goodness gracious. We're going to have to randomize this thing a total of 12 times. And then we are going to give away a really cool book, a exclusive variant, and also a t-shirt to somebody. So let's go back to our list. We're going to randomize this thing a total of 12 times, and then we're going to give it away to one comic book soldier. So that is one right there. Scrolling down, 220 names this week. That is 2. Scrolling down, here is 3. Here is 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Scrolling down. What is this? Is this 10? Yeah, that is 10 right there. Here is 11. And the winner of this week's Go Collect giveaway is Ray. Ray, you, sir, are the winner of this week's Go Collect giveaway. Huge shout out to Ray. Congratulations, my friend. Make sure you send me an email to Regie@regiecollects.com, providing me your screen name, your real name, your mailing address, and your preference for t-shirt color. And if you don't want a t-shirt, I can definitely hook you up with something else, and we will get this bundled up and sent out to you. There we go. I think we're good right there. So we can go ahead and close that window. Congrats to my man, Ray. And then I will also show you guys the new book that we are going to be giving away. And then we're going to get into maybe a little bit of discussion if there's things that you guys want to talk about. So this is what Ray is actually going to be getting, and I'm going to bundle it up as soon as he sends me an email. But because we've been doing a lot of Marvel stuff, I decided that we were going to go DC. So this is the book that we're going to be giving away this coming week, right? It is a DC book. This is Action Comics number 399. It's a Superboy story. It is a 9.6 from 1971 with white pages. This is actually a pretty gorgeous book right here. This is a pretty solid book. Superboy story, high grade from 1971 right there. I mean, it's a pretty nice book, pretty nice DC book right here. The back of it is like stark white. I mean, this thing is definitely a high grade book. So, definitely a cool book that someone will be able to add to their collection. And let me make sure. I thought that I saw something in this book. It could have been another book, but I'll have to look at it a little bit closer because if there's something in there, the winner may actually get a little something. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you because I actually want to pull this one up and we're going to look up the FMV of this book real quick. So we're going to go over to Go Collect, and this is the website right here. Going to type in Action Comics $3.99. Action Comics $3.99. Here is the book right here. And we're going to look at the FMV. FMV for this one is $150. You can see that some of the last sales for this book. Wow, 246, 119, 175, 120, 189, kind of pulling down the average there. But the FMV for this book at the last sale of November 2019 is $150. And that last sale was pretty high, man. It's a pretty high sale at $246 for this particular book. So a 9.6, pretty nice book. And looks like a lot of them actually are 9.8s as well. Well, not a lot. There's like 8 sales, and last sale was in 2018. So that book does not exchange hands all that often. Wow. $450, $478 for that particular book. When was that? That was on Comic Link and Heritage in 2018 and 2017. So not a whole lot of 9.8s out there, but looks like a couple of 9.6s, at least 7 sales. Wow. Interesting stuff. So that is the Go Collect giveaway for this upcoming week is Action Comics number 399. And again, all you have to do is to watch the videos that come out from the channel over the course of the week. And one of those videos is a phrase. You capture that phrase, you head over to the community tab, and that post is already up on the community tab. You head over there, you click the link, you plug in the phrase, and now you are in the running. All right. So I want to give you guys a heads up on the videos that are actually going to be coming out this week. There are 4 videos because videos get released Monday through Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. So there's 4 videos that are coming out as well as 1 podcast. There are 2 hauls. There are 2 haul videos that are actually going to be coming out. And one of them features Mark Bagley, not a Mark Bagley comic, not just a Mark Bagley comic, I should say, but it actually features a personal message to me from Mark Bagley. How cool is that? How cool is that? So definitely stay tuned. 2 haul videos are coming out this week. One of them features a personal message to me from my man Mark Bagley, who I met back in the day and do not remember. So that is going to be dropping this week. So I definitely want you guys to check that out. I did a video on rebagging and boarding. Like I've done videos on like bags and boards and the differences between bags and boards and that kind of stuff. But I decided to do a dedicated video in which I actually talk about rebagging and boarding. And part of the reason for it is I do a lot of rebagging and boarding, right? And so I kind of explain the rationale behind it. And I'm doing it because I do a lot of it, but people are oftentimes asking, when should I rebag and board? So I decided to continue in that series, if you will, of putting out content for like new collectors and those that are newly returning to the hobby. I decided to do a video where I talk about why I rebag and board. So that video will be coming out, and I'm making it a little sexier. So stay tuned because it's not just about that. So stay tuned because I think that there's some pretty cool stuff in that video, and part of it we've already spoken about in this live stream. The other thing is that, and one of you guys suggested this, and it was a good suggestion. I'm gonna be honest with you. Somebody was like, you should do a video on all of the heralds of Galactus. So I did it. It was a great suggestion. It was a suggestion that I had never thought of before. I did a quick search and I was not able to find right away like another YouTuber that has like spoken about it recently. So I was like, cool, let's do this. So that video is going to be coming out, and I honestly think it's a cool video. It took me a while to do this video, so please watch it. Please watch it. It's a good video, but that video will be coming out. And then I'm also going to be dropping one podcast as well. So stay tuned for Somebody said sexier equals shirtless. Where'd that comment go? It got away from me. Where'd that go? Harold video. I can't remember. One of you guys recommended that. And I actually credited someone else with it, but it wasn't that person. I realized it like after the live stream. There we go. Sexier videos equals shirtless. Not right now. All dad bod. No one wants to see that. Trust me. I want to watch a video with no audio or you're a nut. That brother, man, there was one day I did nothing but rebag and board. I'm telling you, it was like all day rebagging and boarding. It was brutal, but it's something that we all do, right? So do a video as to why this segment isn't called Ready Set, because that would be egotistical and I try not to be that guy. That's why. No need to do a video. I can give you the answer right now. I thought about it and some of you actually suggested it, to be honest with you, and I did not go with that. Scrolling down live stream, man, that would be dope. The problem is, like, I have to like pay attention while I do stuff. I don't know. Maybe. If you guys get like super bored one day and are like, let's just do a rebagging and boarding party, maybe that's what they're oh man, you guys are hilarious. All right. So those are the videos that are going to be coming out this week. And again, one podcast is going to drop on Monday at 7 a.m. Pacific time. That's going to be coming out. As I alluded to at the head of the show, the 7,000 subscriber giveaway is actually going to wrap up this week. Let me see if I can find that book, because as a rep, we used to call this the bag dive. When a doctor asks you a question and you're not ready, you have to go diving for the book. That's what that was. That's the wrong book. I was about to show you guys the wrong book. Where is the right book? Where is it? There we go. That's the right book. All right. I keep all the secrets right there in that box right below. So thanks to a super dope Patreon member, Tina, she hooked us up. She hooked us up so that we could actually do a 7,000 subscriber giveaway. And so this contest is open to anybody in the world. Anybody in the world can win the book that I'm about to show you. All you have to do is head over to the community tab. When you get over there, you have to scroll down, because this contest has been going on for a few weeks. You have to scroll down. Further down the page, there is a post about the 7,000 subscriber giveaway. All you have to do is find that post, click on the link, plug in some information about you, and then you plug in the name of your local comic shop. The way that this thing works is that you will get this book right here. It is Avengers 196. It is a 9.6 with off-white pages. This is the first appearance and origin of the Taskmaster, who is in the Black Widow movie. You will get this book right here simply for being a subscriber of the channel and a friend of Tina, and your local comic shop will get a $100 order from me. What I am going to do is to reach out to your local comic shop, and I am going to buy $100 worth of books from that local comic shop. I will also be giving shout outs to the comic shops that are on the list. So if you have some love for your comic shop, if you are interested in winning a really cool book for your collection, all you have to do is head over to the community tab, scroll down, find the post, plug in your information. This week, we will be doing that giveaway because it's been going on, I think, like 2 weeks now. So I think it's about time to wrap that one up. So definitely stay tuned, because we're going to be pulling the trigger on that. And it will probably be, a live stream. When is the Burger Time giveaway? Never. That is a Regie. Somebody gave me that. The folks over at Go Collect actually gave me that. I did a live stream talking about graded books, and they gifted that to me from Wata. But that book is a gift. The Taskmaster is the master of tasks. Clearly, he is not. I'm going to just say his wife is the master of tasks. He is the master of doing the tasks that his wife have given him. There you go. I am the master of task, or the doer of task. Scrolling down through the comments here. Fantastic game. Definitely. We are going to wrap it up this week, Tina. We're going to try to do this. Last week, I did 3 live streams. This last week, and I will probably do as many live streams this week. I did a lot of talking last week, and here's why. I did 3 live streams last week. I did a live stream that was private for Patreon members, and then I did 2 interviews. I did 2 hour-long plus interviews for 2 channels. And if you guys are interested in seeing those interviews, they are actually on the community tab. I did one, Genome Presents. I did a really cool interview with this guy. He asked some fantastic questions. He is a YouTuber here. He has been trying to get me on his channel for a while. Because we're sheltering in place, I have nothing but time. So we did it. It was a great interview. At least I felt like it was good because of the quality of questions that were being asked. And then I also did an interview for a guy out of the UK. We did an interview. It was probably an hour and 20 minutes. It was a really long interview, but it was a good one. And we actually talked about, in both interviews, we talked a lot more about like me as a person versus the channel, but they both took very different approaches. So in the second interview, the guy in the UK, he actually talked a lot more about my bodybuilding and fitness and all of that stuff. So if you're curious, like about where I grew up, how I got into comics, how I was a bodybuilder, how I approach diet and nutrition and exercise and all that kind of stuff. There are 2 really great videos, 2 really great interviews that are up there that you can check out that will give you a lot more insight into who I am. So, scrolling down through some of the comments here. Tina, good night to you. Thank you for hanging out. Definitely appreciate you. Let me know if you need something. Man, these guys asked just some really good questions, right? And if you ask me a good question, I'm going to answer the question, as long as the question isn't like, how much did you pay for that? Because that's just not my gig, right? But if you ask me a question, I'm going to try to answer your question pretty honestly. And what was really great, man, in the second interview, the guy from the UK, you know, he really shared a lot of really fascinating stuff that I typically only hear from people behind the scenes. And he talked about the fact that he has a gambling addiction, and that he, you know, is going through or has gone through a tough time and with relationships with his significant other. And he's kind of highlighted the fact that the content that I put out has allowed him to get through some of those times, because he would listen to the content and wouldn't have to focus on some of those problems. We've spoken about this, the escapism that is associated, I think, with comics and also with the channel. And he spoke about that publicly. There are a lot of people that share those types of things with me behind the scenes that I never talk about because it's not my place to do so. But he chose in his recording to share some of those personal anecdotes. And you know, when someone makes themselves vulnerable, it requires you to kind of respond. You know what I'm saying? So I think both gentlemen did a fantastic job with the interviews. I enjoyed talking with both of them. And one of them, you can actually hear my children in the background making noise because they were still up, and it was chaos at my house. But again, if you guys are interested, I definitely want to encourage you to check out those videos because they are up there on the channel. Yeah, bro. So, man, I opened these up just last night and was like, who is this? There was no note in the box. And so I was super confused as to who Premier Books was. JD, bro, send me an email so we can talk, because I got 2 of them and I'm not sure what to do with them. I will tell you that the AOK is super dope. I will tell you that, my friend. But send me an email, send me a message if you can. Regie at regiecollects.com or Regie Collects on Instagram. Either one, so we can talk just a little bit about it. I want to talk a little bit about where's this guy's waist. You only get that if you watch the videos. Oh man, yeah, that is legit right there. Yeah, brother, please do. I definitely appreciate what you hooked me up with. I just want to understand like what I'm doing with them because there were two of them. So hit me up when you get a chance. Another Michigander. There's a couple. I actually opened up I think two AOKs from two Michiganders. My man Paul is from Michigan, but actually lives in Oregon. And I also opened up this one right here from JD. And again, whenever you guys send me stuff, just make sure you send me if you can't, because I know some people send things to me by way of other people, and so it's a little tough. So I definitely get that. But if someone ever sends me something, just put contact information in there, put a note in there, because that helps me, because there's always like the screen names, the real names, the Instagram profiles, the email addresses, and I get confused. I honestly get confused just because there's so many, but I definitely appreciate that. All right. So I definitely want to ask you guys to hit the thumbs up if you guys are still here. Definitely appreciate that. Thank you for, what did that say? Thank you for Reggie. Thank you and your guest for the interviews. But yeah, man, it would these when I get to interview somebody, I actually try to spend a lot of time being very thoughtful on the things that I'm going to ask them about in advance. And sometimes I just get on here and wing it, and I think it actually turns out okay as well. But I appreciate any time that someone takes some time to do some preparation, to think through the logical flow of how to ask questions, but then also to be nimble enough to flex with the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can be too rigid in an interview and it becomes forced. And other times you have a little bit of structure, but you allow for a natural flow of the conversation. And I think both of these guys did a really good job of that. So, Alex, how you doing, my man? It is good to see you. Scrolling down, have I ever heard of? No, I have not. I have not. There's a lot that I have not heard of. I think I may have followed you already, Jeff. I think I may have followed you. So if you guys don't know what Jeff is talking about here, I released a video when I was actually talking about Instagram and how to use Instagram to find comics and to buy comics and to avoid some of the fees associated with eBay, but to do it in a smart way where you're actually protecting yourself. And so I think a lot of people will watch that video, and a lot of people responded and started to follow me on Instagram that had not, and I immediately tried to follow people as well. So one of the things I can tell you is I encourage you to grow your channel, smartly, right? Or your page on Instagram smartly, right? And to be very thoughtful about it, right? To put out some content, put up some posts, tag some people, use hashtags, tag people, have a conversation, right? Back in the day, there was a whole lot of this follow me and then I'll follow you kind of stuff. And I think, the best thing that anyone could ever do is to put out some content and then tag people and let people see that content and decide to follow you. You know what I'm saying? And that's essentially what I suggest in the video, is that you immerse yourself in the community by getting involved, by putting up posts, by commenting on posts. People will follow you. If you do those things, they will follow you, So just kind of think about some of that stuff. Scrolling down through through some of the comments here. Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate that. All right, so maybe we will wrap this thing up. The chat seems to be slowing down just a little bit. Two brothers, thank you for hanging out, bro. I definitely appreciate you guys for everything that you guys do. I absolutely appreciate it. There are so many people in this room that are just phenomenal people, and we will talk about that very soon. So definitely stay tuned for that. So scrolling up through the comments here. Reggie, did you get a chance to read that article? I scanned the article. Simon is basically talking about an article. I'm guessing that he sent me. In this article, it was basically a gentleman that has collected every single comic book that DC has released from the beginning of time to, I think it was 2014. I think it was 2014. And every single comic that DC has released. I don't even want to know how much this collection is going to go for. It is going to be bananas. I did not get a chance to read the article in its entirety. Had a couple of other things that were kind of going on. But yeah, I did see that article, and I may have to go back and read it when I get a moment. But anybody that has amassed that type of collection has to, man, I don't even know. I need to figure out like where he stored that stuff, right? Like where do you store that kind of stuff? But yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out. If you guys haven't seen this, you may want to do a quick Google search for that. And if Simon, if you have the link for that, you may want to post that up in the chat so folks can actually see that, because it might be a pretty cool one for folks to actually read. So, Reggie, I do not have a video for that one. Sorry. What questions do you have about PayPal though? I mean, because PayPal is pretty straightforward, right? I mean, you basically have two options: friends and family, and not. Right, fans and family basically gives you no buyer protection, and then the one with the buyer protection will actually cost the seller about 3%, but it's a great way to protect oneself, right? If something goes wrong. So if you have questions about it, Chris, just hit me up on Instagram, man. We can talk about it, but I do not have a video on PayPal, even though the vast majority of us actually use PayPal. Vast majority, I think, of the comic book community actually uses PayPal. Instagram, I think, is a little bit new for some of us. So what's the phrase for this week's giveaway? Stay tuned to the video. Scrolling down through the comments here. What is in the boxes? Those boxes right back there are AOKs. I get, and you guys watch the videos, I get a lot of AOKs from people. And a lot of people send stuff to me and they basically say, keep what you want, pass on what you don't. Right. And I try to pass it back. Right. So in the 4 boxes on the bottom are basically AOKs that have already been addressed to people. The bottom 2 are 2 awesome people that are going to be getting those this week. These next 2, I can't remember. One of them is a guy that I actually put up a post late last night where I was like, if you watch my 3 live streams from the course of this week, I wore 3 different ring and watch combinations. The first person that tells me all 3 will actually get an AOK. And one person actually responded in about 13 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. So one of those is for that person. The other, I don't remember. It's somebody. I can't remember. And then the other 3 on top have yet to be determined. So what that means is you may want to stay tuned to the community tab and Instagram and all that other stuff, because I could make an announcement of some sort for you to be able to get an AOK, right? So that's what all of that stuff is. It is basically, in many cases, some books that have been sent to me, and people are like, do with them what you will. And so I'm turning back around. Like I literally filmed a video last night in which people sent me stuff, and I stopped the camera when I was done and I started boxing stuff up to send right back out to the comic book community. So a couple of people are going to get a couple of cool things. I'll tell you that the 2 on the bottom are just books from my from my personal collection. 2 slabs that are going to go out to 2 people. So that's what that is. So just try to keep it moving, man. Just try to keep it moving. Doesn't it stink when you run out of room in a box for an AOK? Oh man, black and yellow. You know what? I actually thought about that AOK last week. And so what was cool is that if you watch the videos, people were like, you use your hands a lot. Yes, because I was purposefully doing stuff like this so that you guys could see it in the videos when you were watching. No one was paying attention, right? But yeah, some people got it. One guy got it right within like 13, 14 minutes or something like that. It was crazy, man. Crazy. But yeah, you never know. It's all in like the spirit of fun. And it's like, how can I give stuff away besides just saying, hey, give me your name and I'll send you something, right? Like you kind of want to make it fun. So hopefully people get that. So scrolling down through the comments here, seeing what else. Matt, welcome back, brother. Not a slabber. Yeah, you need to get on the slab train, my friend. What else are you guys talking about? There you go, man. There you go. And that's the thing is, I get a lot of this stuff comes in, and you want it to keep moving forward and not just come in this room and just sit. You know what I'm saying? Because people give a lot, and it's like I got to keep it moving forward, right? So I think that it's the right thing to do. I'm gonna tell you, there's a couple of books in there that are pretty cool, right? There's like a Philadelphia #1, which I really enjoyed and almost kept for myself, but I decided to move along. There are, like I said, 2 slabs that are both really nice slabs. There's a really nice Carnage variant in there. I mean, there's a couple of really cool books. I mean, by the time you guys see the videos in like next week, those books will already have been received by the new owners and stuff. But you just keep it moving forward, man. So much really good stuff out there that you just do the right thing. So I don't know about that. That was a cool AOK. It was a fun challenge. Yeah, it's just all about having fun. I love the black band. My wife won't let me get it though. No, this is silicone, bro. This is silicone. All of my rings are silicone. Back when I was competing, I actually had a sponsor that used to give me rings. And so I have just a whole bag full of just really nice silicone rings. Because the thing is, if you're in the gym working out, last thing you want is a metal ring on your finger, because it will potentially smash your finger, right? And I actually know a guy that was actually out fishing, fell, and got his hand caught between rocks, almost lost his finger. But I wear silicone right there. I do have a black wedding band, but neither my wife nor I actually wear metal bands. We both have these. And when we get dressed up for special occasions, we break out the metal, we break out the nice watches. But other than that, it's G-Shocks and silicone. That's how we roll. So scrolling down through the comments, what is this? All right, so I have some slabs, but I've just purchased 2 today. Both of them were X-Men 155. The first Brood at 9.6. Congrats on that. I'm taking a chance. They're going to be in the next phase of the Marvel. That's what's up. Actually, I think that they will. I think that was actually confirmed that the flying fish that the Brood used to fly through space is actually going to be, I want to say, is it the Eternals movie? I think there was a Newsarama actually had an article that I almost talked about, and I believe that whatever those flying whales are that the Brood actually use, supposedly they're going to be in the next Eternals movie. At least I think that was the case. So yeah, I don't think that that's a bad move for you to actually pick those up. So got the silicone. That's what's up. Regie, if you like art, check out Alex Raymond, Flash Gordon. This art was almost been lost to the current generation. Let me write a note for that one. Write a note. Was it Alex Raymond? Alex Raymond, Flash. Have to check that out. There's another comment I thought. Oh, is it the Thor movie? Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Again, I take in all this stuff and sometimes I get it messed up, but you're right. It was Thor. What is it? Thunder and Love and Thunder, something like that. Yeah. So, scrolling down. Good night, Anthony. Thank you for hanging out just a little bit. I definitely appreciate you. All right, so maybe we will wrap this up. There was a promotional image by Marvel, has Hulk in the corner fighting the Brood. Check that out. I don't know. I don't know that I've seen that. The Brood are back though. The Brood are back, because if you read the last issue of X-Men from Dawn of X, I want to say it was it 8 or 9? The King Egg was actually eaten by the X-Men known as Brood to stave off an attack from the Brood, right? So they had descended upon Earth. They were lured away from Earth, and the X-Men known as Brood actually ate the King Egg and is now king of the Brood. So maybe there's something up with that, because the Brood are now back. But it's really cool. What is this? Did I ever check out the Backlash Spider-Man crossover? No, I have not checked that out. I have not checked that one out. A lot of stuff out there that I have yet to read. You know what? I actually had a healthy amount of the Invincible run, and I actually got rid of it. I actually picked up a collection a while ago, maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years. It's been a while. The guy actually worked at Image. He worked at Image when it was in Oakland, and so I had he of course used to read comics and brought home a lot of Image books, and I ended up moving a lot of those books on to other people. That again a couple of years ago, but I've never actually read that one. And again, it's one of those things where there's just so many books out there that you can't read them all. There's just way too many books out there. But at some point, maybe I will get around to reading some of these things. So, all right. So with this, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me just a little bit. As a quick recap, there's going to be a couple of videos that are going to be dropping this week at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. 2 of those videos are basically haul videos. One of them includes an appearance by Mark Bagley. There is a personal message to me from Mark Bagley in one of my videos. I'm going to do a little bit of some re-bagging and boarding of comics this week. And then I also have a really in-depth video. It's a really in-depth video on the Heralds of Galactus. And I really would appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video, because it took me a long time to do the research, a long time to film the video, and then a lot of time editing the video. But I think it's a good video. So I definitely want to encourage you guys to watch it. I think you'll enjoy it. If you are interested in like the MCU and what the next, phase might look like with the appearance of Galactus and all that kind of stuff, this could be a cool video for you to actually watch. And then the podcast is going to be dropping this week as well. Monday at 7 a.m. Pacific time, the podcast will be coming out. But I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me just a little bit. I absolutely appreciate you. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects, or if you need to send me an email, you can do so at Regie@RegieCollects.com. If you're feeling frisky, you can head over to the website, and there you will find all kinds of good stuff. A lot of people are doing things with CGC and with Go Collect and with some other industry leaders out there. I have discount codes on the website for you to be able to actually save some money from some of the companies that I just mentioned. You can get a month of access to Go Collect for free right from the website. If you head over to RegieCollects.com, go to the partners page. There's some really cool stuff there. And then there's also some really cool ways for you to be able to support the channel. There's t-shirts, there's box cutters, there's books for sale, all kinds of stuff. And if you guys are feeling frisky, the website is there for you. But like I said, if you need to reach out to me, I am not too hard to find. Take care.